Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we are. We have Joe's Fairmont in here today, and this car has been on once or twice before. The neat thing about this is it is basically running the Don't BSme special edition with the 4.8 liter completely stock engine, Gen 3 truck intake, yada yada yada. Billet 7875 turbo from VS Racing, 3-inch intercooler, air to air, and sloppy stage 2 camshaft and pack 1218 springs. TH400, Circle D billet face converter, 8.8, all the usual suspects. But he has Snake Eater 1500s in this time, and we're shooting for a bit more power than he made prior. Basically pushing the limits on the quote-unquote Don't BSme setup on a Gen 3 engine, seeing what we can get away with, everything else, and reporting the results back to you, fortunately, if you are looking at how it can do. Surprised me, for sure.
I don't put any of that standard shit.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boop, let's flip the mic down and get everything sorted. So, what we witnessed was basically the very simple Don't BSme combo with the poster boy vehicle being Joe Genevieve's Fairmont Making 775 rear wheel on some pump ethanol and a Gen 3 4.8 and the billet 7875 with a simple air-to-air combo with truck manifolds. So obviously this is pretty stunning. Yeah, that is that's Winamp right down there. So I made a lot of hits on his car and we messed around quite a bit. It has the Gen 3 4.8. Gen 3, it has a Gen 3 intake. It has a Gen 3 stock throttle body. It has 3-inch intercooler piping, 3-inch air-to-air intercooler. I think I said Snake Eater 1500s. It has twin AEM 380 pumps off of a fuel cell. This car was like semi-done when he got it, I think, if I remember. And he finished a mini tub on it, which he said may or may not have been worth it. It was very difficult and annoying. So the car is tubbed and everything else. It has tubular everything. I think the car weighs like 2,600 pounds, and Joe is like 170 pounds. So the car is extremely light for the power it has. The gears are possibly a little short. I honestly can't remember if he said he's running a funky size 26-inch tire. I think he has a 355 ratio rear end, a little bit short, and also the converter at this power level is at its limits. So I recommended that if he's within his, a lot of companies will restall your torque converter to your means based within a year most of the time, sometimes more than that. I said to him, obviously when he put this car together, he was like 500 horsepower and this much weight and everything else would be fantastic. And he has well exceeded all of that. So he's going to have them restall it for the incredible power that this combo is pumping out. Funny enough, none of us ever expected it to really go this far, but here it is. So anyway, Joe had this car on not that long ago, and he had like 80-pound injectors in it, and all the standard stuff, and it was on pump, and it made fantastic power. And he ended up bringing it back with a larger injector, and he had fuel pump issues. And then I think by the third time he brought it back, he had 1500s, the twin pumps, ethanol content sensor, everything else working. This car is running on a DIY Auto-Tune MS3 Pro, I believe. I'm not too fond of it. We've had a bunch of issues with getting it perfect. It's not something I deal with all the time. It might just be my fault. Again, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. We did iron it out very well on the Snake Eater 1500s on approximately E50 from the pump mixed with pump gas. So yeah, 50% alcohol, Snake Eaters, twin AEM 380s. He has a very well-defined fuel pump setup now where it feeds the rails first and then it goes to a regulator. Not like a lot of other setups like mine or everything else. And then, like I said, his converter is struggling with the power. That's why the dyno pulls are kind of short. It is struggling to maintain and hold that power up top. I'm sure it's well above what everybody suggested and how the converter was built for the car, blah, blah, blah. So that's all stuff you need to take into consideration and understand. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll jump like halfway through in here and see what we got. What do we got on these logs here? So obviously this is a hit on the dyno pull right here. So what do we got? So if we roll into it, we got a 12.6 and it dips down to like a 10.8. How much boost are we looking at? 10 pounds. And duty cycle on the injectors is 30%. Ethanol percentage, only 11. So this is basically pump gas. So this was a 12-pound hit on pump gas. So we went half the day just doing a bunch of pump gas pulls and then splashed in the E from there. So you can see the ethanol percentage is just not very high. I think we made like 550, 600 on pump and then we swapped it to E. Oh yeah, you can see right here, 49%. So that was right there. So then this next hit here was 50% alcohol, 11 pounds, 16 degrees, 37% duty cycle. Everything was very good. Everything was working out very good. What do we got on Let's fire up the old DynoJet software. We got Fairmonts. We got Joe. Don't BS me. 1500 retune. Okay. So what do we got here? 1:58 p.m. 1:51. 2 o'clock. So yeah, we made like 570 and then 660 on E-ish. If these times all line up, which I think they do. We got torque. Yeah, we got torque on those hits too. So anyway, we pressed on and we decided we would throw some boost at it. No, I don't want to update. Go away. So right here, we got 16, let's do an average. 16.6 pounds. Boost duty cycle 65%. Injector duty cycle 44%. 16 degrees. Yeah, ethanol percentage 50%. And that was at 206. So is that this one? Or this one? Probably, you know, one of these. So we were pressing right up over 730. And I joked with Joe early on. I asked him semi-seriously, I'm like, how much power do you want to make today? What do you want to do? What's today's goal? And he goes, blow it up. Which is always a 50-50 answer. You don't know if people are serious or not. So we pressed on. And one of the things Joe did say to me was, well, your car just made 730, so all I want to do is make more than your Mustang did, just to be funny. So we made 707, and then my next hit I made 732, and I'm like, well, you're 2.2 horsepower higher than my combination right now. So what do you want to do? And he's like, oh, you know, let's see if she goes a little bit more. So we did. We pressed on a little bit. What do I got here? I think we ran out of boost control at some point too, obviously, boys. So you can see here, I trimmed out the air fuel a little bit. 1140, 16 pounds, 17 degrees. What kind of duty cycle? Only 30% on these injectors at, well, 40% injector duty cycle at 11.2, fairly rich, at 6,600. And that was at 210. What are we at here? 212-ish, fairly close. So 730 something. And right about then, he's like, damn, this is doing really good. And I'm like, yeah, this is incredible. For a car, this is technically my combo. I can't believe it's going this far. Oftentimes, I'd wondered what the limit of the 4.8 and the 7875 is. It's really far. I mean, where does it end? This is a Gen 1, obviously 7875. People are going to ask that question. And then we pushed a little bit, and I made 760, ladies and gentlemen. It was a little bit fat, and I cleaned it up. And then I was like, you want to go 800? And he was like, honestly, no. And I pushed it a little bit more, and it made 775, technically, 640 foot-pounds on the high end of the scale here, and you can see that incredible power out of it. And he wants to race it and everything like that. I think this last hit was 774. So we'll take a look at the no, I don't. So I hit it right here, and it is almost immediately in boost. The minute I get the throttle open, it's at 2 pounds technically. And then it comes right up and it levels off at about, let's do the average here for everybody. Average of 20.7 pounds. Boost duty cycle of 85%. Duty cycle on the injector, 46%. Air fuel, very conservative at 11.0. This is a Gen 3 motor after all. Spark 15 degrees up top. His converter is not liking this amount of power. It's almost pushing through it. It was tickling the limiter most of this pull. It just wanted to dance off the 7,000 limiter at the top immediately. So I'm like, I would tighten your converter. I would lengthen your gears a tiny bit. We evaluate your tire height and a bunch of everything else in the combo. It's up to you, but it's insane that I can't believe that this combination goes this far. Everything else stunned with 50% ethanol content. Pump sheets ethanol on top of gasoline, doing incredibly well. We always joke about how far something like this will go, but this is incredible. Almost 800 rear wheel. I think it would have gone 800, but the converter would have struggled. We probably could have seen 800 on the dyno, but I don't know if it would actually go down the track at all like that, because the converter would just be pushed too hard. It might go 1/8 mile, but I doubt it would go quarter. So it's definitely food for thought. I cannot believe a combination that I said is really extremely good in 2017 still holds water with the best of them. I don't think there's a better combination than this for the money, period, right now. Still, with how fast this industry and combinations I do personally and everything else changes, it's funny to think that this relatively very cheap combination is still this good to this day. People see results like this all the time. It's a 550 rear wheel pump gas straight combo very easily all day long. I do it all the time. More and more people are using it, but to make almost 800 with it is absurd. Something like this may not be survivable, obviously, in a very heavy car, but this is a very light car, so I'm curious to see what he does with the converter and everything else. I think around winter time, he says he wants to sell the Mega Squirt setup and go with a Terminator and reevaluate the car, or send the converter out, do a bunch of other stuff. And he has a spare 5.3 that he has been keeping secret in his basement or something. So I think he might eventually want to push this 4.8 till failure and then utilize his stronger rotted 5.3 at some point. But it's incredible what a little 4.8 and a billet 78 will do. Still to this day, absolutely crush on power. I'd love to see him make a pass, but like I said, he probably won't get much past the 8th with how much converter slip there seems to be. It seems like the converter is really struggling over 500 rear wheel, which, like I said, was probably only spec'd for about 500 rear wheel, so you can't fault anybody on that. But hope you guys enjoy this segment on Joe's Fairmont. It continues to come back and just do incredible. It is literally, like I always say, the poster boy for this combination, showing you what really can be done and exceeding expectations on a simple combo. So hope you enjoy. Thanks for following along. Bye.